everyone, and welcome back to the Tiger Den. I apologize for starting a little late today, and I just realized the music is super fucking loud, so I'm gonna turn that down. Anyway, I hope you guys all had a wonderful day yesterday. If you guys didn't make it, if you did, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Other than that, I apologize for starting late today. I did go to the gym this morning, and it was a little delayed because I didn't wake up early enough. So I'm exhausted, I'm tired, and it's been a lot. But thank you so much, Hugger, for the give love, and I know you didn't redeem first, but congratulations on being here first. I have no breath in my lungs right now, because I literally went to the gym, got breakfast, because I didn't even eat before going in.
Penguins. Focus on work, and I'll keep creating. Support means a lot. Take care. And best of luck with your tasks. Much love to you too.
Hey! I got breakfast and now I'm here. I literally just finished eating and came up. But yes, no problem, Hugger. Enjoy work, and I hope you have lots of fun. Thank you for the artwork, believing in it. I am looking at this, and I definitely need to line it. I'm losing a lot of the details. I could go in and shadow it and do all that good stuff. But I think I just want to line it and kind of, like I said yesterday, make it a little bit more cartoony. So let's go ahead and start removing some of this masking fluid that I added to it, which is a lot like masking tape in the sense that it just kind of blocks the paint from going in this area. So that way it'll be a little bit more solidified and less colorful. As you can see, there's no splatter or anything under this masking fluid. There's no paint, no nothing. Thankfully, I made it thick enough so I didn't have to worry about that. What I'm using is just a little kind of rubber eraser. It came with the masking fluid. It is very, very nice in helping remove this stuff. Or after a while, you can just take it and peel it. There we go. So now we're going to work on painting the cat portion of this. For the most part, it's going to be my black cat, so it should be relatively easy to paint. It's just going to be black with a little bit of yellow eyes, and I'm going to do a gray nose. So that is going to be that. I'm going to do a normal gray and a black. And I think I am going to do shiny yellow for the eyes. Just because I'm kind of feeling a little bit of eye shine, and I'm pretty sure that is what my cat has, is yellow eyes. She just walked away, so I could have looked, but that would have been smart of me. Oh, I'm going to drink some smoothie and try and get some air back. I am so exhausted. Now, I don't have the correct pen up here for lining my work. I'm looking and seeing what ones I have, and I'm not seeing the correct one, so I will have to go downstairs to get the correct pen, which means I will have to take this downstairs to line it, which also means I'm not going to be signing it when we're done, just because you do sign it when you are fully done. You don't sign it beforehand. So, for that reason, I am not going to be signing it while we stream today. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of water to the nose just to make sure it is nice and light gray, because we want a nice light color. So I'm just going to take a tiny drop of gray, put it in there, wash off my brush so I don't have too much. We're just going to spread that around. And there we go, that nice light gray. Now, technically, black cat noses are a dark gray, and they're hard to see from the rest of the face. But in this case, I want it to be a little bit more of a... How do I put this? A little bit more of an evident nose against the black of the body. So right now, I'm just mixing up this yellow to get a nice glitter effect on the eyes. So we're just going to put those eyes in very carefully. But this one is close to done. I know we could have finished it yesterday, but the drying actually took a whole night to dry, and unless I used my heat gun, it would have taken too much time. And I didn't feel like using the heat gun. There we go, nice glittery eyes. So now we gotta wait for that to dry. While we wait for that to dry, I can start painting some of the cat body. I just have to be careful around the face. And part of why I'm not gonna do that is if I get all the way up here to the neck, it could bleed between the two. And if I bleed between the two, it's just gonna look like a mess. And if I stop at the neck, it's gonna create an extra layer with the lines, and it's gonna look weird. Just trust me. I didn't think about this. I should have done this earlier. I should have done the nose and the eyes earlier. I guess I can heat gun it. It's fine. So for those of you on headphones, just a heads up, I'm about to heat gun, which is very noisy and very loud. So do be careful as this gets very loud on you. And in 3, 2, 1. I know I haven't been saying much. I am very tired today, honestly. It has been a long day already, and I have a very long day ahead of me. No matter what I do, I'm basically looking at exhausting myself today. I have a park reopening that I plan on going to with my child, if I can manage to bring myself to go. Okay, it's almost dry. Alright, I think that's just glitter I'm seeing. I think it's dry. Okay. So with that dry, we're going to go ahead and start doing the cat body. And then I will do the cat eyes. We'll finish the eyes, and then we'll go from there. So for the cat body, I am going to wet it just to kind of help control that flow. And I have to be very careful around the eyes and the nose, because while I do want it to flow nicely, I don't want it to flow into either one. And here I can be a little bit looser with the flow and the water, because it is a little bit bigger here. Now I want this black cat to be fairly black. So I'm gonna add a lot of pigmentation here. Okay, so now we're gonna take that black and we're just gonna drop it in here and there until it runs out of pigmentation. Grab some more, drop it here and there again. Now we're just going to start spreading it. And the water that I added helps keep it so that way the pigmentation stays wet longer. That way we can get a nice spreadable black even though we dropped it like we did. If you don't keep the paper wet while doing that, it will actually cause it to solidify, and then you can't spread it around. And it looks like we're going to have to do a couple layers because this black is a little bit on the gray side. It's already starting to dry up. Yeah, we're going to have to drop in more black here. I want the cat to be nice and black, so the fact that it is graying out, it means that we have to add more black pigmentation. So we're going to go in with this black again, and we're just going to darken it here and there. I want this to be a midnight black cat, which means a lot of dipping into the black. As you can see, as we dip it, it is getting a lot darker, which is exactly what we want. I'm trying to be careful of my edges here because I want the edges to be clean. While I am going to line it, I don't want a messy line. Some more water in here. Oh, that's gray. I didn't want gray. Now my hand is shaking like always, which is making my lines not super clean. And I am noticing that my splatter from yesterday didn't come through as clean as I would have liked. It's a little transparent, but that's kind of part of watercolor, is having that transparency. So while it's not ideal that it's as transparent as it is, that's what I should expect for watercolor. There, we are getting a nice black cat now. It just took a lot more pigmentation than I would have liked. But that's okay, because I have a lot of black pigment. Okay, now we gotta let that black dry, and then once it's dry, we can do the eyes with the little slits, and then once those slits are done, I let that dry, and then I do the white highlight, and then it should be good to go to outline. And yeah, it's not going to take a long time for this one to finish, just because of the fact that I had most of it done yesterday. Once that is done with the drying and the painting, we'll move on to the second one, which is the toilet with the cat. Again, they'll be reading the newspaper. And then the third one, I don't know if I'll get to cat-wise, because it's a lot more intricate and a lot more detailed, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to the level of detail that I want yet. I also am really, really tired, so I don't know how much I'm going to stream today. I'm just so exhausted. I can't even begin to explain it. I think because I want this to be done a little bit faster, I'm going to go ahead and heat gun it again. So we're going to make it dry. Making it dry with a heat gun just speeds up the drying process by quite a bit. It heats it up so the water evaporates, which is how we get that nice dry piece of paper. There we go. Nice and dry. Now we're going to go in with those black slits. I think, do I want to do iridescent black? Yeah, I think I'm going to do an iridescent black. So I'm going to spritz my iridescent black here, which I didn't think to do earlier because that would have been smart. We're just going to kind of swirl it around and hope we get enough pigmentation because I didn't activate it. Then we're just going to do a little slit here. And that should be good. Now we wait for that to dry, and then I do the white gel, which again, I'm going to use the heat gun. There's the word I'm looking for. I'm going to use the heat gun to dry it, and then I'll do the white, and then we should be good for this piece until I line it. Almost fully dry. There we go. And now for the white, and then it'll be all good to go. I know I could have finished this yesterday had I used the heat gun, but I chose not to, and I don't know why. Honestly, I probably should have. There we go. Look at that little kitty. It's so cute. It's so cute. But yeah, I could have probably finished this yesterday and then lined it last night. I was exhausted and tired. Honestly, I don't even know if I can stream right now. I almost didn't stream at all just because of how tired I am. It's been a long week, a very long week. But at least I got 3 streams in this week, even if I don't do a full one today. I've been struggling a lot, and I am glad I was able to get 3 streams in for you guys. I know I haven't been streaming a lot, and I have been struggling to get things done, but I am doing the best I can, and I don't know how much better I can do. This one I am going to do a background with. I probably should... I should get the toilet. I should cover the toilet because I want the toilet to be white. But that requires getting out the masking fluid again. And I don't want to. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to go around the toilet and maybe do like a aura around the toilet. I don't know what color I want to do. The cat is pink. Blue is the complementary. Maybe a teal? Yeah, let's go with teal. So I'm going to squirt my teal. I'm just going to squirt all of them, actually, just to get them all activated. I don't know if I need all these colors, but that's what we're going to do. So we're going to go around the toilet in kind of like a aura type feel. We're going to avoid putting anything on that toilet. Also going to aura the cat. I know I don't need to aura the cat because I have the masking fluid, but that is what we're going to do. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to actually put that there. Just kind of wetting the paper quite a bit, and I'm going to let it dry a touch this time. Just because it is really, really, really wet. I want it to be slightly wet, not super wet like it currently is. I'm just kind of spreading this water around. So that way we can let it dry a minute. Which will also give time for the color to activate. Yeah, some of it is already starting to dry, so it shouldn't take that long to get that kind of glossy feel. So this one is based on my male cat Pickles. Yes, I'm continuing to move it around just so it doesn't get too dry here. Anyway, this is based on my orange cat Pickles. He is a pain in the batukas, and he is laying technically right next to me. He enjoys being a pain in the butt and getting all your attention. He will go up into your face and demand cuddles and pets and all sorts of good stuff like that. Okay, we got that glossy sheen already, so I'm going to dip into my teal, and we're just going to start spreading it around. And I know this teal isn't very tealy. If you looked at it next to a blue, you can see it is a little bit more teal. I'm trying not to go all the way to the edge. Just because, like I said, I'm trying to get that glow aura. Okay, we need a little bit more teal on this side. Now, I'm also trying to spread it out to keep this pigmentation a little bit more even on both sides. I don't want to have too much in one place. And I do see that I am getting close to the edge on some of these, so I'm just going to take it all the way to the edge. And just pray I don't hit the other paper behind it. Now, this isn't what normally mop brushes are for. This is what I'm using my mop brush for. Mop brushes are usually for, like, spreading paint. Well, I guess it is, because it's for spreading paint. Oop, got the back of that one. Woo, well. Should be able to remove that. Or at least lift some of it. There we go. I got it cleaned up. We're good. Oop, I didn't see that side. Okay. So now we're going to let that dry, and then we're going to go after the toilet next. The toilet I'm going to do in a nice white. I think I'm going to pull out the white from my last one, and we're going to do kind of like a bluey purple white on the toilet, and we're going to do a silver for the handle. The silver I made myself is really nice. The white I made for myself is also really nice, but I kind of want to use up the white in my old palette. You know what? I'm just going to use the white for my new palette. It's fine. It's fine. Everything is fine. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm going to try and get most of this one done. We are not doing the splatter this time. Just because I don't feel like doing a splatter, it's going to make this one take a lot less time not having a splatter go on. But I want this to focus more on the cat, where the cat's going to have a lot more detail, because he is an orange tabby, which means he's got stripes all over him. And I want to focus more on the detail in the cat than off the cat. I also would like to get this finished before I end stream, and if I spend too much time splattering, it's going to take a lot more time to finish this. I could add some paint kind of like dripping right here, I guess, and just kind of dripping down. I may do that. Just to give the theme, well, no, because the next, am I going to do paint? I don't think I'm going to do paint in the next one. So, never mind. I don't necessarily need a theme of paint splattering, because the next one doesn't have a paint splatter. The next one is a cat washing its hands. I think I'm going to do a green background, like a lime greenish background for the back of that, the water, and then I'm going to do gray for the stones. So I do have a plan for the next one. I just have not gotten to the point of implementing it because I have been very, very, very busy. So it looks like the background is dry enough that we can start in on the toilet. I'm going to make sure that white and that silver are nice and hydrated. So I'm just going to wet this toilet. I'm not that worried about the white soaking into anything, just because the white doesn't really give a good color change on it. It just kind of makes it shiny. And I got to remember today to take down my iridescent white paint that I made for my class tomorrow, because I do give away iridescent paints with every class I teach from, well, I started last time. I'm going to from now on. So that will be nice for anyone who joins the class. So hopefully if you guys are in the Nashville, Michigan area, you will join for my class to get your own iridescent paint. This time I am going to add some color to the newspaper because of the fact that I am not doing the splatter, which would give it color. So what I'm going to do for the newspaper is I'm going to do like a fleshy color, a very light fleshy color. And that will equal the kind of like a older newspaper, like he found it in a bin or something like that. God, I love how iridescent this paint is. It's like painting with liquid glitter. It's so pretty. So the reason I got into paint making is I saw this brand, and I've mentioned it before, called Lizzie Linka. It was literally painting with liquid glitter, and I wanted it so bad, but it's a German watercolor paint company. So when I looked it up to see how much it would cost to get a palette, the cheapest palette was about, what was it, 56 bucks, I think, to get one color. One color was 36, almost 40 bucks, which I thought was insane. And then to make it worse, you have to pay the tariff because they won't pay the tariff. And the tariff is usually $15 plus, I think it was like 10% of the product costs. So to get a $40 paint, you had to spend, I think it was 15 plus 10%, 18 bucks. So nearly half the cost just to get the paint. One color, and I was looking at $156 paint. By the time I was done, I mapped it out. It was about 200 bucks for a 7-color palette. I thought that was insane, so I ended up not buying it. But boy, do I still want to try it. I'm not paying that much for it. I want to see if my iridescent is anything like theirs. They are on Etsy, so maybe I'll go through Etsy and buy it because they can't really charge a tariff through Etsy. So maybe I'll try that. God, this is so shiny. I love it. Okay, now I gotta wait for the toilet to dry, so that way I can do the silver of the handle. And while I'm waiting for it to dry, I'm gonna go ahead and... No, I'm not gonna do the squares. I'd rather do the squares after. For the squares this time, I think I'm gonna do a brown, like a red-brown here for these squares, just to give me a little bit more options. And I think for his base, I'm going to mix the orange with a little bit of yellow ochre to get kind of a lighter color. And then I will do the straight orange for the stripes, or maybe do the orange with a little bit of red-brown, just because he's not straight orange. Oh, I am sleepy. I am sleepy. So it looks like it's already dry, but I'm going to give it a few more minutes just because of the fact that while it looks dry, the iridescence on my paint does make it look kind of wet. So I don't want to risk it. I'm going to give it more time to dry. I do try to keep my painting on the thin side so that way it dries faster. But there are times where I don't fully succeed in that. Smoothie is choking me. Death by smoothie. That's what this is going to end up being. I'm going to die on stream to a smoothie, of all things. So my question is for you guys today is, how are you? I don't get that answered very often, and I would like to know. I do enjoy hearing about your guys' days and how you've been, and that just pulled some of that blue in there, and I don't know how, but it's fine. But I like talking with you guys, and that's part of why I stream, is I like hearing about your guys' days and how you've been, and all sorts of good stuff like that. Okay, I don't want too much pigmentation of my flesh color, so I'm just going to kind of spread it a little bit around, and then I'm going to add just a smidgen of yellow in here to give that yellowed look. Add a bit more flesh, because again, I want it to be a little bit more fleshy than yellow. Clean the brush, and we're just going to mix it together, and look at that tattered old yellowed newspaper. So what I'm doing is I'm mixing the color on the paper, which is a nice kind of unique feature of watercolor. You can actually mix colors on the paper and you don't have to mix it in the pan. I am getting a little bit of pilling here. I don't know if it's the paper or if it's the masking fluid. I'm going to lean masking fluid because I didn't have this pilling on the last page that I did. Yeah, I think it's just the masking fluid pulling up. Okay. That is a nice yellowed newspaper where it doesn't look too out of place, but it's not straight white either. Hello, kitties. Can I help you? I'm getting all the kitties around me. I guess they've been lonely. They don't have a lot of people that come up here and kind of talk with them and hang out. I try to do it when I can, but it's not as often as I would like. Okay, we're going to take and get rid of some of this silver because it's kind of a dark silver. That way it can be a little bit lighter on here. And that just gives a nice silver handle for the toilet. It is a bit on the small side, so I'm going to make it a little bigger. There we go. Yeah, that looks a little better. It is kind of bleeding a little bit, so the white wasn't as dry as I hoped it was. But when I go to line this one as well, because I will be lining this one, that should clean up those kind of blooming edges, is what it's called, blooming. So I just need to do, I think I'm going to, maybe I'll do purple. What color do I want to do for this? I haven't done pink in a while. Maybe I'll do pink. Yeah, I'll do pink for these. Hey, Pickles, what color is your nose? Can you look at me? What color is your nose? Okay, it's a yellow ochre. Got it. Thank you. I appreciate you looking at me. He does also have a white muzzle. So like down here is white. It does go to a tan down here. Like a tan right in this area. Down to his belly. So the belly I'm going to do a tan. Right here I'm going to do a flesh color. This I'm going to try and leave white best I can without spilling it over. Yellow ochre on the nose, and then doing that kind of tanny orange, yellow ochre orange on the rest of the body, and then doing the orange, dark red, brown for the stripes. It's already dry. I mean, not quite. We'll wait a few more minutes. It's fine. Today it might be a short stream just because of how quickly I'm kind of rushing through this painting. It's not so much that I want to rush through it, it's that I am tired and I want to get some paintings done for you guys. But at the same time, I also need to rest and relax, and I haven't been doing that very well. I'm trying to make sure that this painting gets enough dry time and doesn't have too much bleeding on it. Ugh. I know I'm also going to be quiet during this stream a lot. It's not you guys. And it's not that I don't want to talk. It's my brain isn't functioning. I am dying, apparently. No, I am very, very exhausted. I have had a long few weeks, and I am not done. I have a watercolor class tomorrow. I have therapy next Saturday. I have a convention the Saturday after that, and it's just a suicide walk on the 19th. And it's a lot going on, and I'm overwhelmed. I'll be honest. I am overwhelmed. Okay, I need a lot more water than that. There we go. Make this nice and highly pigmented with the pink. Now, I could do the pinkest pink, but I want to keep this a little bit darker for the newspaper. So we're going with this kind of dark rose pink. I forget what it's officially called. I also realized I never fixed my projector, so I got to do that tonight. Which means probably after this stream, because there's also a park opening I want to take my kid to, which means after the stream I have to fix the projector because the park opening starts at 6. There's like no time for anything. Maybe I won't be going to the park opening just because there's a lot going on, like a lot. I'm keeping this pink on the thicker side, so it should dry fairly quickly. Trying to keep these images and lines as straight as possible, because a picture on a newspaper is pretty straight. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and thicken this up a bit. You can see my pencil mark through it. That's just because, again, watercolor is a bit on the transparent side. That's the fun of watercolor, is it is able to see what's underneath it. Whereas acrylic, you can cover up what's underneath it without worrying too much about what it shows. There we go. That looks nice and thick. It's not as thick as I would like, but again, this is watercolor, not acrylic, so it's not going to be super thick. Oh, do I want to do... I am like struggling right now, guys. I'm really struggling. I may do the cat Monday if I can stream. I'm just so exhausted. I want to sleep. Which is weird because I slept in today. Like, I didn't wake up at my normal like 8, 9. I think I slept in till 10:30. So an extra hour and a half of sleep than I'm used to. Maybe that's why I'm tired, because I slept in more than I normally do. Let me at least get the belly done and the nose. And then I'll get the base orange done, and I'll do the stripes on Monday or the next time I stream. Now watch me finish it completely, because that's just what I'm going to do. Pickles, look at me. What are your eye color? Your eye color is kind of like a greenish yellow. Got it. Thank you. Waiting for this to dry a bit more so I can peel that color here. And I do see there are a few areas in the newspaper that are going to be a little bit pure white, just because the cat masking fluid did go into the newspaper. It's fine. I honestly don't care enough. Okay, let's start peeling this masking fluid off. And again, we're using the rubber eraser to peel it off because you don't want to pick at it like I did on the last one. I know I did that, and I know you could do that, but you do run the risk of ripping the paper when you do that. So it's not the most ideal situation to do. I don't know how this rubber eraser is more gentle than a simple pick and peel, since it sticks and it's basically peeling anyway. But you know what? I don't question logic. I mean, I should, but I don't. The best way to do this is to go in little circles.
No worries. Don Creek 2007.
Work can't hear.
Focus on work while lurking.
Hello, Don
Enjoy
Creep.
the stream silently, and feel free to join the conversation whenever you can.
Hello, Don Creep. May! May, you talk too much. Anyway, hello, Don Creep. Welcome to the Tiger Den. I hope you're doing well. I don't mind. Oh, yeah, that was still too wet. It just smeared the paint. Oh, no! I might be able to fix that real quick. No, I cannot. I made it too thick to be able to fix. Well, that's fine. You know what? It's fine. Everything is fine. I guess there is a little bit of a paint splatter here this time. Accidental paint splatter. I am going to have to add more tan to this now because of this paint splatter. So I guess I will be able to fix those areas where the color didn't get all the way through. I didn't wait long enough for things to dry. So let me go ahead and add that tan in here. We're just going to kind of clean this up as best as we can. Kind of clean up that red. Kind of smear that around. I'm going to take some of that tan over here on this side. Lighten it up. There we go. That looks a little bit more natural, other than the, the red on this side. That's super, super obvious, but it's fine. Just gotta be a little bit more careful around this pink. Do much smaller motions. Just pick and peel at this. I did do it a little bit more on the thicker side just because I wanted to make sure that it would cover up from the paint and no paint would get through. So normally you don't do this thick of a masking fluid. Again, I did it just because I really didn't want the paint to get through because it's a cheaper masking fluid. I'm going to rip this because that is how this is working now. I wanted to make sure the masking fluid didn't get the paint through. And then I put paint on him anyway, so you know. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and get more water in my flesh color. And I'm going to take the water. I'm just going to wet where it's going to be the flesh color here. Because I want that flesh color to be nice and light. There's a little bit above his eyes. And then his belly down here. So this flesh color is going to look a lot like the newspaper, just with a little bit less yellow. So we're just going to kind of spread this around here. Paint in the areas. And then we're going to let that dry. And then we'll paint the base orange color. Again, we're trying to keep around that muzzle nice and light. I'm also going to paint the eyes and the nose while I'm waiting for the belly to dry, just because now would be a good time to paint them. And I think the flesh color might be what's pilling. Because it's pilling again. I might have to remake my flesh color. Or do something a little bit more with it. It's fine. Everything is fine. I am going to soak up some of the water up here. I just realized I can't do the eyes because of the color above the eyes here. I keep adding too much water. I want the pigment of the flesh without a ton of water. There we go. That's a little better. It'll stand out more once I get the color of the orange color in there. So his nose is a bit of a yellow ochre. It's a little bit on the lighter side of yellow ochre, so I'm just going to do a few drops of yellow ochre. I'm going to wash my brush, kind of get some of that water out, and then we're just going to push it around. And now I got to wait for all of that to dry before I can do the next stage. And the next stage will be the last one. That'll take us to about an hour. Again, I apologize for the short stream today. I have been all over and I have a million things to do, and it feels like no matter what I do, I am not caught up. I'm trying so hard to be caught up on everything, and it feels like I'm failing no matter what I do. I'm going to go ahead, and while I am waiting for that to dry, I'm going to mark off on my checklist that one of the cats is done. If I can find it. There it is. So one of the cats is done. I know it's not fully done just because of the fact that I'll uncheck the dry portion. Just because it's not words. Just because of the fact it is not outlined yet. I'll put that in the outline section when I am done there. Yeah, I gotta take a lot of things down with me and remember to take a lot of things down with me. I have so much I gotta do. If you guys haven't heard, again, I said this already earlier in the stream, but I do have a watercolor class coming up tomorrow. If you are in the Nashville, Michigan area, I would love if you came and hang out. It is $25 per student, but you get your own watercolor, and I supply all the materials from brushes to the watercolor to the paper, like all the stuff you will need. I will provide. You just have to show up ready to paint. And if you have a child with you, I do accept children 8+. I don't do younger than 8 because not enough focus. There is not enough focus. But it'll be a lot of fun, and I think you guys will enjoy it if you guys can attend. All right, the flesh color, it looks like it's already pretty done. This one is way too light for me. So I'm just going to kind of come in a little bit more. Same with this side. We're just going to make it a little bit more fleshy colored. Spread this around. Yeah, I think the pilling is my flesh color. I don't know what I did to it. There we go. That's a little better. I did keep it on the thinner side. I didn't add like any water to it, so it should dry relatively quickly. We're also still waiting for the nose to dry, but I'm going to go ahead and start on the bottom half of the body because this is nice and dry down here. So we're going to start down there. So to mix my colors, I need the yellow ochre with the orange, and I need to make a nice... I'm going to need a lot of it, so I'm going to flip this over and take my big pan puddles, and we're going to make quite a bit of it. I'm going to swap to a bigger brush, and we're just going to take this yellow ochre and we're going to put it down here. Again, I have to make quite a bit of it. I'm going to spray it in here so that way we can get a nice puddle. And I will need my tester card here to make sure I have the right color. We're going to do a lot of yellow ochre just because I want that nice kind of yellowy color he left, and so now I can't compare the color to him. I'm going to kind of squeeze out our brush here. Oops. Clean the brush because I don't want to mix that yellow ochre with my orange. I'm going to take a nice healthy amount of orange here. We're going to mix it in. And that was definitely not enough orange. So we're going to just take it. I know normally I just said I didn't want to mix my brush colors, but I'm going to now. On the plus side with watercolor, if you do get your colors mixed and you don't want your color mixed, all you have to do is just spray the top and use your brush to wipe out that color. Okay, I need a little bit more orange than this, but let's go ahead and give it a little bit of a test. Yeah, see, that's a little bit on the dark side. So I can lighten it with a little bit more water. So let's go ahead and add a touch more water to it. And then I think I don't need to add more orange. Let's pick up some of this water here. Yeah, that is the right color. It's just a bit on the thick side. So we're going to add some more water. And there we go. There's the color I need. Now I'm going to go ahead and take this puddle, and hopefully I made enough of it. We're just going to spread it out. Not near the nose for now. And yes, I'm pilling again. Maybe it is the paper. I didn't have this issue with the paper right above this, so I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I am seeing that it is a bit on the orange side. I probably should add a little bit more yellow ochre, but I've already started placing it, and I don't want to go back through. So it's fine. It's an orange cat. It's okay if it's a little bit more orange than yellow ochered. I definitely have to make sure it is more on the brown side for the stripes. I am taking it nice and slow because you do want to keep in the lines and not spread out the paint, especially with a cat. You want to make sure that you have that nice clean line. Just kind of spread out the colors so that way it looks even. Okay, and then we're going to go on to the other side here. Again, we want that nice clean line, especially around that newspaper. Now, I definitely made enough of this that I should be able to keep this color and just add some red-brown to it to get those nice stripes. I may use a bit of a darker brown instead of the red brown, maybe like a coffee brown, just to get that color a little bit more how I want it to exist. Just gonna kind of layer this on here. Again, trying to keep that level of color smooth and consistent throughout the body. I'm doing little dips at a time because I don't want to oversaturate that orange. Now, the paint I am using is the Winsor & Newton Cotman paint. The iridescent paint is my own special blend. The Winsor & Newton paint does have a high pigmentation, so it becomes nice and vibrant, which a lot of watercolor paints don't do. So I really appreciate the Winsor & Newton Cotman line because it is beautifully vibrant. And I absolutely love that. Now there are some lines for where the stripes are. I gotta hope that the dark color for the stripes that I plan on using does go ahead and cover those up because I do not want to outline those pieces. All right, and now this is where I gotta be extra careful because we do have that white muzzle on him. So that way I don't accidentally create a non-accurate to my cat picture. Again, my goal is to remake my cats in specific due to them being, well, my cats. So this one goes here, and the nose is dry enough that we can go ahead and start painting the face. Okay, and then we got a little bit of that light color up there. Again, trying to keep the color in a nice, straight, non-fuzzy line, just based on how I'm painting this. I am also trying to keep a better eye on my YouTube channel chat, so if you are watching on YouTube, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me. For those of you on Twitch, if you haven't heard, because of Twitch's AI crap, I'm going to be swapping over to YouTube here eventually. So if you are subscribed, go ahead and remove your subscription, and you can subscribe on YouTube. I think YouTube subscriptions are free, but they do have, I think it's like members is what they call it, where you can subscribe the same way, or subscribe quote unquote as Twitch calls it, where you can pay me money, and I don't have any membership bonuses now, mostly because I don't have anyone that's a member, but I will do my best to get some member bonuses out eventually. Okay, I definitely have plenty of this orange to mix the stripes, so I will go ahead so that way I don't have to wait and reactivate this orange and then fight the colors and all that good stuff, I will go ahead and go through and add the dark stripes once this is dry. Right now I'm just getting that orange a little bit more solidified and vibrant. I may go through and do some other areas as well, but as it dries, it does lighten, so don't worry about it being too vibrant here. And then, like I said, we do have that muzzle area. I am not going to add the little dots in the muzzle area to darken or create that kind of fuzzy... yeah, this paper is peeling now. Why is it peeling? Pilling, not peeling, pilling. I will not be adding those little dots to make it look fuzzy. I just kind of, like I said on yesterday when I was working on the Eva one, that I want it to be more cartoony feeling. So that's why we are not going through and making it all fuzzy and blendy and all that good stuff. I will be making some pet portraits to place on my show coming up in May. So if you want to see it a little bit more fuzzy, just go ahead and watch those streams or be here for those streams. And you'll be able to see what I do to make fuzzy cats and all that good stuff. A lot of the cat pieces for making it fuzzy do tend to be a lot more water and a lot more flow. So I wet the page and then I just kind of bloom it out. Okay, yeah, this is giving a much better color as it dries for the orange accents. I'm just adding another layer to make it a little bit more vibrant orange and less dull orange, which, I mean, let's be honest, the orange cats are a little bit more on the dull side. Okay, this should be the last layer I need to add. And then we will wait for it to dry, and we will make that nice brown color. Okay, there we go. Now, I can't do the eyes quite yet. Again, I need to wait for everything around it to dry. I might be able to do it once I do the stripes, because I think the stripes are far enough away, but I don't remember for certain, so I want to be extra careful. And I guess with me waiting for it to dry and doing the stripes now, we do get a little bit more than an hour of streaming. Again, it's not going to be the full 2 hours, just because of how exhausted I am. I need to rest at some point today, and not at 8, 9 o'clock at night. That's right, I need to take a new pen down because my pens are dying down there. I'm going to grab 2 extra to put in my purse. And that leaves me with 3 extra, so I should probably order new pens soon. I buy 12 at a time. I use pens mostly for journaling and for sketching. But yeah. I do a lot with my stuff. And no, I'm not using the pens to outline this. I have a special pen called a fine liner pen. I use that instead. It gets a much sharper, cleaner point. Smoothie is so good. Now, if I remember correctly, I did say yellow-green, which is this one. It was a little bit more yellow than green, so I might do a puddle like I did this one and add a lot more yellow than green. Just to get that nice color on his eyes. It's still not dry yet, but I also can't tell 100% with the pilling if it is dry. I can see some of my lines for the stripes, which that's going to be a pain trying to get the stripes in the right area for these areas that are a little too thick in my opinion. I probably shouldn't have done that. Like, I definitely can't see the face, so I'm gonna... Yeah, the face is gone. It is totally gone on these stripes. So I'm just gonna kind of create them here with my brush so I can have an idea of where they were. Then I had one here. I had one here. And I think I had one down here. Once I am done with these pieces with fine lining, I will show them on the next stream I do, and then I will also post them on the Discord. So if you are in our Discord, or if you aren't, I would recommend joining. !point Discord. I don't think I've added that to the YouTube yet. I do need to add that to the YouTube option. But if you do !Discord in Twitch, then you do get our Discord, and I have an art projects page on there. I don't always post in there. I actually have a lot of problems posting my stuff because I always forget. But I will post in there once they are fine lined, and you guys can see them there. Just doing a little bit of a lifting technique so that way, again, I can see where my stripes were at. And this lifting technique shouldn't affect the dry time of the paint, which it looks like it is almost dry, so I should be able to do these stripes real soon. Now, when I go to do the stripes, I will make them a little bit more pointed than I did here. I just realized the tip of his tail is white. I did not mean to make that orange. My bad. Hello, Rama. I don't know what that is. L7G3M? Something gem. How do you pronounce that second half, or do you just like being goaded by Rama? But welcome to the Tiger Den. I hope you're doing well. I am just cleaning up some cat paintings here. Once this painting is done, we're going to end stream. I know it's a really, really short stream, but I have been very tired and exhausted. If you want to watch more of my streams, I do have a art live streams playlist on YouTube here. So you can watch more streams, which are basically just me painting. I am going to be streaming more here on YouTube. I usually stream on Twitch, or at least I used to. However, the issue with Twitch is they're doing a lot of bad things, like feeding my streams to AI, and I don't appreciate that. So I'm going to be leaving Twitch and enjoying my time here on YouTube. Okay, I think that's dry enough, and I can see where my stripes are enough that I can start adding the stripes in. If they do bleed a little bit or bloom, whatever you want to call it, that's okay. Just because of the fact that I do want them to look as natural as possible while still keeping this cartoony. So I'm taking some of this red brown in here and mixing it in. I want to make a nice dark brown here, so I may take some of the dark browns, because this is not getting dark enough for my like. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up some of this dark brown. Again, I'm not worried about mixing colors with watercolor, just because of the fact that the watercolor does tend to clean up pretty easily. And this went a little too dark now. But just to be on the safe side, let's go ahead and test it. Actually, it's not as dark as I thought. I just need a touch more orange, and I think that will be good. Now, I am swatching because I am making a custom color, which allows me to see if that is the right. It needs a bit more orange. And I do clean my brushes between swatching, at least I try to, just to make sure that I got an accurate color on here. Now, last little space here to swatch, and that looks good. So now we're going to go ahead and make the stripes on the cat, and I'm also going to shadow the ear a little bit. We're going to try and keep this on the thin side, just because of the fact that I want it to dry fairly quickly.
How decadent. Indulge in the gooey goodness and savor each cheesy bite.
Ah, yes, Rama, I forgot to introduce you to May.
P192.
I do need to work on getting May connected with YouTube so she can read the chat there. I apologize she did not respond and welcome you. But hello, Pizza Man. How are you doing? Welcome back to the Tiger Den. I appreciate 4-cheese pizza. That is actually one of my favorite flavors. And it does look like these are blooming a little bit on the stripes. Again, that's okay. It just gives it a little bit more of a natural feel. So I'm not going to worry about it. And yes, for those of you trying to figure out what's going on with this cat, it is a cat on the toilet reading a newspaper. I thought it was funny and cute. I saw these paintings on Amazon that I wanted to get for the bathroom until I looked closer and saw that they were AI art. I would love to support artists, but I'm not supporting an AI artist. So I decided to make them myself. And because I was making them myself, I decided to go ahead and make them my cats. Just clean up that stripe right there a little bit. So because they're my cats, I did add the customization of, like, this is Pickles, and his ear is a little damaged from scratching it so much. But because it's damaged, I decided to include that in the painting. It helps kind of add the uniqueness of it being him. Now, this color is doing a little bit better than I thought for these stripes. It's looking very close to an orange tabby's color. I thought this was going to be too dark, but you know what? It works. Need to add a bit more color to these. And it is blooming a little bit further than I would like. It's kind of hard to control watercolor. That's kind of the point of watercolor, is it's not easy to control. And that's the whole point. You never know what you're going to get.
Congratulations. P192.
Company.
Winning a camping chair sounds like a cozy prize. Enjoy your well-deserved nap and recharge for more adventures.
Yes.
Rest up and relax.
May. Anyway, yes, that is so cool, Pizza. I'm so glad you had a great picnic. I'm glad you had a lot of fun, but yes, go take a nap. It is well deserved. And thank you for stopping by. And thank you so much for the nice cats there, Rama. I have been trying my best to work on my cat pictures and design. I still haven't found my style 100% on cats, but I am getting closer. And I think having this outlined and kind of more on the cartoony, simple side will really give me more of my style. This is the closest I've gotten yet. I don't know if it's quite there, but it's definitely the closest that I have gotten. Now, I can show you, once this is dry, the previous cat picture. It's a splatter bathtub. I don't know how fast this will take to dry, so I don't know if I'll have time to show you, but I can show you a quick kind of sneak peek of it. I have been working on these cat bathroom pieces, and I have one more, which is a cat washing its hand, to paint after this one. I have a massive backstock of paintings to work on. It's pretty bad. Thankfully, most of them aren't due until May of 2027. But you know I'm going to end up sketching more and getting more that I have to do before May 2027. So I definitely need to work on getting these finished and enjoying my time with them. These are more personal pieces than my business pieces. I do sell art and take commissions. Yeah, words are hard. I've lost all words. Do a little bit of shadowing right here, just because I want the feet to stand out a touch. And then once that, well, it's not touching the eyes. I should be able to mix together and do the eyes. So again, his eyes were very yellow-green, so I'm going to do a little puddle because I don't need a lot of it, and I'm going to mix a ton of yellow into that puddle. and just a touch of green. And I do have a yellow green already, but the yellow green is a bit on the green side. And it's definitely more yellow than green. And I think that's the color right there. I don't have a lot of space on the swatch sheet left. I don't want to flip it over because it's still wet. But yeah, there we go. That is about what his eye color is. So we're going to go ahead. Normally you just do a pupil. But I'm going to paint the entire eye this color. And for him, I'm going to do, instead of the slit eyes like I did for Eva, I am going to do the round, big round eyes, because he is definitely much more of a pleader and the I want attention now style, to the point he shows you his belly, and for once in a cat's life, it's not a trap. I repeat, he gives belly and it's not a trap. It is very, very cool. There we go. I do have to also add on my chat section, I also need to add my YouTube because it only shows the Twitch chat. So there's a few things, and I appreciate you, Rama, for stopping in, that I do have to fix on my stream setup to make sure that it shows everything. So now we're just waiting on the eyes to dry and the stripes to dry. The stripes became really messy over here. I'm not proud of that. I can lift it up a little bit here and get a little bit more stripey. But I already changed the color of the orange. This is the downside to changing colors when you mix a custom color. If you need to go back in with that color, you can't. Clean this up a little bit more. Clean that up. And looks like the other arm also kind of got a little messy. It's the downside to having these colors so close together. Okay, that looks a little better. It's not perfect. It's not going to be perfect. I definitely have a lot to learn about making cats and doing all sorts of details and all this stuff. Like tomorrow when I go to teach my watercolor class, which is flowers. I'm okay with flowers. I definitely am going to need to learn from my boss how to do roses with acrylic. I tried to do a rose with acrylic with the two-tone color where you fill the body of the brush with one color and the tip with another. And it didn't work out. I'm going to add a little bit. I know it's a bit dark, but we're going to add a little bit of an inner ear here. I think his inner ear is lighter than the outer ear, but it's fine. This will be fine. There we go. That way it at least looks like there is some ear going on. I didn't have to add the ear to my black cat Eva, mostly because of the fact that she doesn't really show the inner ear because she's so black. While we're waiting for this to dry, Rama, let me go ahead and show you the previous painting. This is Eva, my adorable little kitty. The tub is iridescent, so it does have a shine to it. I don't know if that shows. And then I did a splatter effect for the paint coming down. And I didn't do anything for the big background. I don't think I want to right now. It does have a lot of gray and white, so I could do something like a brown just to help it stand out. But at the same time, I don't want to pull away from the splatter effect that I did. I want that to be the main focus and not the background behind it. Maybe I could do a yellow. Yellow might be, no, because the yellow will pull away from the gold, quote unquote. I don't have a gold. I have a yellow. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it white. Hi, sir. I am painting you right now. Do you want to see yourself? Hello, my cute little kitty. Pickles has joined us. Kinda. I would have him wave and say hi, but he's on the floor and while he wants up, I don't want him in my lap right now. He can be a greedy little attention seeker. Yeah, you're a kitty running dog OS. You need all the attentions and loves. You need to learn cat OS. Yeah, you need cat OS. You do. Anyway, he is adorable, and I would love to show him. Again, if you guys are not part of the Discord, I do need to fix this on YouTube, but ! Discord on Twitch, and you can join the Discord there. As for how long the paint takes to dry, it does vary, Rama. So the more wet watercolor is, the longer it takes to dry. The more pigment there is, so the less water, the faster it takes to dry. I added a decent amount of water to my 2 puddles over here, the brown and the yellow. So it does take a little bit to dry. They are already at the glossy stage, so it should maybe be about 5 more minutes. And I just noticed this stripe is a little bit on the small pigmentation side. Anyway, it shouldn't take too long. It's watercolor, so it can be a pain in the butt. You just kind of gotta look to see if it's glossy or not. You can speed paint drying up, and I'm not going to do it right now with a heat gun. So you just kind of blow the heat gun, make sure it's far enough away that it doesn't bubble the watercolor paper, and this speeds it up so much. So like this right here on the arm is already pretty dry. I have a little bit here and here that needs to dry, a lot right there, and then of course the stripe I just did. But thankfully, I don't need to do much outside the eyes, which the eyes are glossy. So they're almost dry. If I try to paint on them right now, it'll bloom and it'll cause a little bit of a, how do I explain it? A little bit of like a fuzzy effect to it. And I don't want the fuzzy effect. I am going to go ahead and activate this black paint here for the eyeballs. I'm keeping it on the less wet side because the eyeballs I do want to dry very quickly. And I'm going to go ahead and mix in this pigment. The more pigment you add, the stronger the color, the more vibrant the color, and the less time it takes to dry. The nice thing about watercolor is if you do mix custom colors and let them dry, you can always get that custom color back later. You just have to re-wet it. The downside is it does splatter when you mix the color back, so it can be hard to get that that color the way you want it to be. Okay, it looks dry enough that I should be able to do this without a bloom effect, which I lied. Apparently it's going to bloom, but it's okay. It's fine. Everything is fine. Now, I am making his eyeball a little bigger because, again, he tends to be the pleading cat. I swear to God, he is a cat running dog OS. So as you can see, and I need to clean it up quickly, that black is bleeding in a way I don't want it to. And the big key to stop that is just to pull that water up right where it's bleeding. It's not going to stop it completely, but it does reduce how far it goes. I think I'm going to let the other side dry a little bit more before I go after it. Just because I don't want that much bleed. I also kind of want to add more black to this. So I'm going to take my black and mix more of it in just to make a darker eye color. So let's go ahead and we'll swatch that just to make sure it is a nice black, and it is. So nice color. A lot of watercolor paints, especially when you start mixing custom colors together, I do recommend having a little bit of watercolor paper that you either tear up or cut up or something like that, just to make sure the color you are mixing is correct. As you can see with this blue, I had to go through it multiple times, along with the orange today, just to get that right color, mostly due to the water. The more water you add, the lighter the color will be. So if you mix a custom color and you try to add white, it doesn't really lighten the color, it just makes it more opaque. However, if you add water to the color, then it lightens it up. But at the same time, that also makes it take longer to dry. I'm just gonna, since this is already bleeding, add some of that black again, which is now not dark enough. There we go. Right, is that other side looks dry. I swear they both look dry. I don't understand why it's bleeding. Let's give it a chance. Yeah, it's bleeding again. Why? I don't understand. We're just gonna dab that black in just to give it that darker color. It's fine. Everything is fine. I'll be using a white gel pen to clean up the edges of that black. Just a touch. That way I can get the nice eye shine. We're going to take that black and just kind of remove that water so it doesn't bleed as much as I don't want it to. Okay. So that is a little better. Now, if I really wanted to, I could add more of that lime green into this where I'm lifting. But again, I'd have to wait for it to fully dry. I am very impatient, so I don't know why my main medium is watercolor. I am the most impatient person to paint ever. So having watercolor where you have to wait for it to dry makes zero sense for me. I am strange. Watercolor is my main medium. I love working with it the best. It is fun to work with transparencies and values. But again, I hate dry time, so I don't know why I sit here and torture myself. Now, for those of you both on Twitch and YouTube, just a reminder, I try to stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. The last 2 weeks, I did struggle a lot because I was prepping for a convention, which means a lot of art making, and I couldn't get up the stairs, so I did all of it downstairs, and I just don't have a good way to set up downstairs. But I do plan on starting next stream Monday. This week I did do Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but I am not doing that next week because that was a lot back to back. So Monday will be the next stream. I will be hopefully working on my third cat piece, and then we will move back into the Legend of Zelda pieces. From there, I will work on probably the Rat Pig pieces, which is Rat Pig Crossing is a convention in Indiana. It's about the Tales of series, so like Tales of Zestiria, Tales of Symphonia, Tales of something. I don't know all of them, but that one will be a convention I will be at if you are interested in ever buying any of my work. No, you guys are not required to buy. I'm happy to just sit here and teach you, and that's why I love streaming, because you guys can ask questions live and I can answer them right away. So that is always a good thing. Past that, I don't know. I've already forgotten where I was going with that. ADHD for the win! But I do try to make sure that I interact with you guys and have fun. You guys are the light of my day. I love being able to interact and answer questions and all that good stuff. So I hope you guys will continue coming to these streams and enjoying them. For those on Twitch, for the 18th time this stream, I am going to be leaving Twitch here eventually, probably about the end of the month. So if you are subscribed, make sure to cancel your subscription and then follow me over on YouTube, so that way you can continue enjoying my live streams. I am very irritated with Twitch and where they're taking things. So I apologize that I worked so hard to make this community, and I know many of you will not follow me over, but I do hope those of you who are truly, truly enjoying these streams do come over and hang out on my YouTube and enjoy making a community over there. As for Monday, like I said, we'll be working on the cat picture and then move into the Legend of Zelda series sketches that I have. I have a Zora to finish, King Zora to finish, and a Majora's Mask where it shows all the mask and Link with the deity sword. So that will be a lot of fun. I really do hope you guys join for those. I have the Rat Pig pieces. I have an Eevee Triforce, and I have a million pieces to make by May 2027. So I have a lot to work on and a lot to paint, and like I said, I just really hope you guys come join me for that. Okay. It looks dry. Is it actually dry? I don't know. Do I want it to be dry? I do. Is it actually dry? Again, I don't know. I don't know if I want to risk it. And as for that message that just popped up there, I am going to be walking in a suicide awareness walk on September 19th. As you guys know, or at least those of you on Twitch know, I have struggled with suicide and depression for years. I've tried to take my own life probably about 5 times now, I think is where I was at, maybe 6. I'm pretty sure it's 5. Anyway, I have struggled with it a lot, and I think it's a very important situation or issue that needs to be brought to awareness. So if you guys are not aware of it, go ahead and go to that link. You can find a local one nearby. As for if you want to donate, you don't have to. You can if you want. I really don't care. Just bring awareness to it. That's all I ask. Find a walk near you, join it, and show people they are not alone in their struggles. I really want this to be dry. It looks dry. All right, I'm going to touch it. It's not dry. It's not dry. I'm glad I touched it. So this is where the part of the stream where we just kind of chill and chat because I don't know how to wait and I'm impatient and yeah, all that fun stuff. This one is dry. The swatch of it is dry. Is the actual thing dry? No, of course not. So I'll start picking up and getting things ready. I just realized I had my PH Martin's white this entire time. So I could have and should use my PH Martin's bleed proof white to make the eye shines. Again, I don't know why I didn't think of that. Because I didn't. Because I am silly. That's why. We're going to go with silly. That's the wording we're using today. Well, fine then. Don't stand up. I am going to leave the mop brush out because it is very, very wet. I use the mop brush to make the background here. And I want it to dry fully because it is supposed to be fluffy and out. So I'm going to let that dry completely. Past that, I think I don't have much other to say. If you guys want to stick around to see the cat come to life just by adding some eye shines, feel free. If you guys want to take off, I also won't be mad. I am going to finish stream after I get these eye shines in because I want to go downstairs and get these lined. I also have a few setup things for my class I need to finish. And it's just a lot today. I have a local park reopening. Around 6 p.m. that I want to go to with my kid. So I will be doing that as well. Just live? Yes, just lives. So I'm live currently, and then I plan on being live Monday, Wednesday, Friday as often as I can. I'm not always very good at it. I do try my hardest. If you ever miss a live stream, Twitch holds on to them for 14 days. Again, I'm going to be stopping with Twitch, so don't read too much into that. YouTube, that tends to hold them forever. I just put them into a playlist. So feel free to go through, even if it's been over 14 days since I've live streamed, and check out those live streams there at your convenience. And you can watch as much of it or as little of it as you want. I do separate my art live streams from my gaming. Coming some point in September, they haven't released an exact day yet. I will be streaming a game again. It is called Boba Quest. I backed it on Kickstarter and I am so excited. I love the trailer for that game. I love the idea of the game and it's so freaking cute. I love it. So I will be streaming that again. It is an alpha, so you won't be able to get it for yourself. However, as of right now, the full release date is Q2 of 2027, so no exact month, just kind of a quarter. As long as everything goes well, they will be releasing it in Q2. Otherwise, you may have to wait a little bit. But based on what I've seen, I highly recommend going for this game. However, you guys can decide for yourselves once I stream it. And why can't I get water out of this squirt bottle? There we go. I think I got too much water in my bleed proof. Okay, we are going to go ahead and soak up some of this bleed proof pigment because I got it too wet and I want it to actually not wiggle around. So we are going to do that, and then we're going to go ahead and highlight the eyes. And I'm going to give him an extra highlight than I normally do. Normally I only do 2. I'm going to do 3 on him just because he is the pleader and the cute one that tries everything to get your attention. And look how much an eye shine can change a piece and make the actual piece feel alive. I absolutely love how quickly a piece transforms just by adding an eye shine. Again, I am going to line it so it's going to look a little bit cartoony and a little bit more detailed than just these flat colors. I will sign them afterward, and if you are part of the Discord, I will post pictures there of both the lovely black cat outlined and the orange cat outlined. Otherwise, I will show them Monday so you guys can see them then. I think that's all I have for today. I'm going to let this dry before I take it downstairs, just that way I can make sure that it is not going to smear when I go to close the book so I can transfer it downstairs. I had a lot of fun today. Rama, welcome to the Tiger Den. I am so excited to have you here and be able to talk with you and start a whole new chapter of my life. And I look forward to seeing you in the future if you do stop out again. I appreciate all of you. I love all of you, and I thank you all for being here and being a part of my life and hanging out with me. But for now, we are going to end the stream. I love you all. I appreciate you all. And if you are not subscribed currently, please do subscribe so you can get notifications for my streams. And I will see you guys all Monday.